and it'll come back. Yep, perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so you were saying my lumbar came up, and you know what? I have terrible posture. I mean, when I'm on my desk at work, I'm either twisting, and I really do try to sit up straight. I'm actually a guy, more often than not, I'm like this, you know, like quite frighteningly good posture. But then I'll go and I'll be Mr. Oh my God, this for like hours, and I just love it. It feels so comfortable. You feel relief.
Yeah.
Like the guy was slouched. Of course, I can do that because I don't have that kind of job where I have to be typing all the time. But I'm like, then I'm like this, and I don't do forward a lot, but I sure like to do that thing where your spine, like literally, like you're a guy half asleep in your bucket seats kind of thing. Yeah. So I'm sure my spine has not been helped by that.
Okay.
And we're talking. Yeah.
So after having a look at, seeing a little bit of that forward head posture, the next thing was, as you say, about the lumbar, and I'll put a question mark with this because, as I say, we'll take it to higher guidance and we'll see what they guide us towards. But kind of look at you're supposed to have a natural curvature in the lumbar, right? Which they call a natural lordosis.
Yes.
Which curves forward. Now, it kind of seemed to me that there was a bit excessive with your lumbar, and there might be a few factors that's causing that, and which I'll talk about now. What I also noticed a few things happening from the pelvis or hips downwards, right, in regards to your knees and your legs.
Okay.
Now, what I noticed was your knees are more forward than where your hips would be, right? Ideally, you'd like your hips and knees to kind of like be like that, upright, like up and down. Okay. But what's happening is the hips there, and then the knees forward from there. So it's amazing. It's slung like that. Yeah. And then from the ankle and the knees forward, and then the ankle's back here. So there's a bit of that.
Jeez.
Right? So that all plays a part in building the foundation or the basis for the pelvis and the hips, which then obviously what's the spine that connects into there? Your lumbar, right? So and your sacrum and right. So we'll look at that. But otherwise, the shoulders look pretty even. Your head tilts to the left a little bit. I looked at both photos.
Mm-hmm.
That might not be a severe issue. We'll have a look. But I definitely feel like our focus will be in which then centralizes what you're experiencing in the lumbar spine, and also you got your digestive system in that abdomen as well.
Exactly.
There, or anterior to the posterior aspect of your lower back.
Exactly.
There could be a connection there. So we'll have a look.
Yeah, and I think that might affect my water work. So it's kind of like I have to drink a lot of water to stay hydrated, but I tend to, as soon as I drink the water, I feel like, man, I must go to the washroom, and that kind of thing. It's like, because I drink like this. I don't know. It's insane. I go, whoosh. I just want to get it over to it. So I drink a big glass, go, whoosh, and go, okay, that's good. I'm not a camel, but I think I act like a camel. I think I should store like a big glass of water, not drink. Instead, I drink, and then I go, well, I'm not surprised I have to go. So then it just, you know what I'm trying to say. It's like, so on my minor travels, I go, shit, am I hydrated or do I dehydrate or what am I going to do? Right. It's just, it's just.
Well, yeah, exactly. The first recommendation, general recommendation about, especially if you're having issues with digestive system and flow there, is what they'll say. Well, you're not drinking enough, right? So as you mentioned there, but there's, the biggest thing about flow in the body, because we know that, our body and every component of our body or physiology, whether that's the nervous system, the respiratory system, the cardiovascular, urinary, digestive, they all depend on flow, like for your body to be in a wellness, vitality state. Yeah. And so I always say, and this is, my higher consciousness telling me this as well, is the precursor to our body is the state we provide ourselves, right? Our state, our environment that we provide. And this connects into that expression, right? That people go, are you in the flow, right? Are you in the flow with life? Are you flowing? Which is really the definition of being in the moment or in the now, but going to the next moment. That's just going with the flow. And sometimes we're kind of conditioned as the human to be think everything through for a thought process, which then kind of then obstructs and blocks that ability to flow, which if you're going with the flow, then you're providing a state for the body to be in a state of flow as well. It will reflect that.
Yeah.
So when we start to obstruct and block that state, then our body will reflect that also, you see. So it becomes not more as a flowing phenomena, but more of a congested, stagnant phenomena. But the thing is, because it's just mainly with your digestive system, it could be to do with that, but it also could be to do with what's going on with your spine as well. So we'll get into the charts, and then it will get a good idea and clue to what's going on.
What is that clunking and cracking stuff that goes on in the spine? Because that's why I was going, what the heck is going on? I'll reach for something, and all of a sudden my spine, right, lumbar, thoracic, lower thoracic, and lumbar, it just go clunk, clunk, clunk. And literally I'd go, is there something wrong? What's
a lot of the times, generally people think, well, it's like bones moving and stuff like that, like vertebrae and stuff like that. It's more, a lot of those noises are more to do with connective tissue.
Yeah. I've also heard it's the disc. Maybe some discs are rubbing because of degeneration.
It can be, yeah. If there's degeneration of the disc and wearing away, that's when we start to get into vertebrae hitting vertebrae, right? Because that's what cushions the vertebrae. Yeah. But it can mean that. But a lot of the times, again, what holds the spine in that position? So that's immediately comes into play when we start to look at connective tissue, ligaments, tendons, muscles, those sorts of things, and how they play a role. Because in a spine situation, we look at obviously the alignment of the spine, but we also look at what is the precursor to then holding that alignment, and we know that's posture, right? That's why we do the assessment there. Yeah. But we've also gone to now what predetermines posture.
Yeah.
And this just fell in my lap, really. This understanding was, there was just an expression that came through, and it was this. It's an expression we quite often use to explain or to define posture, and it's how we hold ourselves. And I was thinking, maybe posture is how we hold our energy. So straight away, yes, I got a big yes with that, and confirmation for that. So there is an ability, this gets a little bit deeper, right, into us as our energy, as a consciousness, and how we connect to our energy, our higher aspects of our consciousness, our energy, which we can see as input of energy to us here. But then we live a life which we're going to expend energy, which is output, right? So, and what's that middleman or middle person of those two things? It's the body. So, we want to have the right balance so that the body, because we know the body already knows how to heal itself. There are scientists that look at the body and they see that the body's already got all these processes to regenerate itself. It's always regenerating new cells and that sort of thing. And they scratch their heads and they can't understand why the body ages. So this is this ability that the body knows what to do, but if we use, again, the same analogy of we used for our body, right? The state we provide for the body predetermines how the body will function.
Yeah.
We use that in that analogy. We realize that, okay, the body knows how to do it, but it needs the materials to do it.
Oh.
Right? So it's a bit like, you employ a builder, right? Or let's say you're a handyman and you're going to build a fence. Well, you can't build a fence without the materials. Right? So it's the same thing with the body. The body knows how to do it, but it needs the materials, and the materials is the energy. Right? So if we're lacking in connection to a higher aspect of ourselves, so we already don't have an infinite amount of it because we're infinite consciousness when we have that higher connection. We've got a limited amount of energy already coming into our input as an input. But then if we're unaware of how we use our energy, and we're leaking energy everywhere, there's a lot going out, the body's going to suffer. because it won't be able to hold enough energy to keep those processes going to have the ability to heal itself.
So what do we do about that? What's to be done?
Well, that's the pinnacle of what I do as a healer, right? As a job. So I, alongside this session, right, which is mainly a spinal alignment posture correction, is I do ascendance healing sessions, right? And I also do reality coaching sessions. Not life coaching like a lot of people, reality coaching. Why I use reality instead of life is because reality is this understanding of not to just get by as the human, but to understand your full expansion as a consciousness, because you need to know that and therefore know what you're capable of. But also then you learn also how you expend your energy and how you use your energy into creation. So when you have all that information, all that know-how, then you can be more aware of the decisions and the choices that you then make to enable that ability for your body to hold energy to do its job.
Wow.
So I'm starting to do more Zoom calls, which are like free things that people come in and I do a discussion about these concepts. And I've actually got one this weekend. I don't know if you're aware of it, but I've got one this weekend, which will be Saturday your time, Sunday morning my time. If you're interested, if you're not signed up for it, and if you're interested, I'll sign you up for it. And then at least you'll get email all the details, like the Zoom link, if you want to be present for it.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Yes.
Because
and you're offering this free. That's amazing.
Because again, the way that I'm kind of being, my path of where I'm kind of being ushered towards, is this understanding that healing, is about clearing work, but where the healing really, the expansive healing is understanding. Okay, so it's a wisdom of knowing really who you are, as how expansive you really are, right? Because and the thing that keeps coming up is, how are we ever going to know what we're capable of unless we never figure out how expansive we are already? So we're kind of trying to push the frontiers from a limited representation of us, which we are as the human, sadly. And so I'll be discussing a lot of concepts based on all that in that talk, which is titled Ascension Map. We've actually got a page, a chart in my charts that maps out all your expansion. It's all there.
Wow.
So it'll be, and that map or that chart is the basis that has led to all the clearings, the protocols, the processes that we do in sessions, and even including spinal alignment. We've gone deeper than we've ever gone into understanding the origin of all of that. Because when we think about posture, a lot of people are like, oh, I was unaware I had that. Because it creeps in, because you're not aware of it. And where's the word awareness come from? Consciousness. Right? So, and even all the tools that I make and distribute, I don't just put them out there because I hope they'll be good. I know the ins and outs of them because I made them, right? A lot of the tools that I built, and they're all built with the energetics that came from that expansion, that ascension map, which is not about bringing other person's energy or cosmic energies in. It's about bringing more of your energy in, your expansion in. So when you wear it, when you use it, you're not bringing in a cosmic expansive energy. You're bringing more of your higher expansive energy, which is in alignment and in sync with you.
Wow.
So it's going to be a very enlightening and very empowering talk, because you're going to walk from the start of that talk to the end of that talk. You're going to learn a lot more about yourself, which is awesome. Yeah.
That's fascinating. And you're offering this to us like just for free? That's
for free. Yeah.
Well, please remember to send me that link, or I'll send you an email to remind you.
Yeah. I'll just write a note for it now.
Yeah. Please include me. That's really cool of you.
No problems.
You certainly have evolved a lot since we talked last year, haven't you? You've evolved quite a bit.
Yeah, well,
I've only been following you very loosely.
Because the way I look at it, right? If you're somebody that's getting into all this quantum stuff and the word ascension, right?
Yeah.
Is the word to ascend is to evolve. And for me, I'm fully in that process and I have to reflect that, right? So for me, I kind of have to feel like I need to walk the talk, but I'm not doing that for my client's sake. I'm just doing that because I want to achieve that myself, but I want to share this with everybody else, right? And whether that's in a dynamic of a Zoom call or a session itself, or a spinal session or whatever that may be. But I know that within that Zoom call, we're going to provide a greater means or understanding to what we're trying to achieve then in the sessions, right?
Right.
Which then, because the thing is, I'm here as a guide for you. I'll do the clearing work, but I know that the pivotal aspect of your reality, Seann, is you.
Yes.
So I need to center everything around that pivotal aspect, which is you. So I'm not just about doing the clearing work. I need to explain why we're doing it and all the aspects that come around it, because then it gives you great understanding and knowing of what's going on, and that's a big aspect of healing itself.
Mm-hmm. I can feel that you're using words to articulate things that are so beyond words. It's kind of
exactly.
Like, my God, his stuff is so deep, and he's speaking common language to me, of course, but I'm going, wow. Yeah. We're talking around a subject that's almost impossible to speak of.
That's right. I'll give you an example this morning with a client. We were looking at timelines, and this is a new thing we're going towards as well, which is really brand new timelines. Mm-hmm. Now, which is essentially past lives. Mm-hmm. But past lives, we call it that way through seeing time linear, right? That's something beforehand.
Yeah, right.
But when we say timelines, we kind of remove that linear aspect of time, and we see that things are branching off and kind of happening all at the same time, right? So, mm-hmm. This morning we were working with a client with this, and a whole lot of download of wisdom was coming through, and it's never comes through words. It's just a feeling, right? It's a knowing. I'll call that, and you kind of feel it. You know what your higher consciousness is trying to provide to you. But now you're gonna, how do I put that into words, right? As you just said, formulate into words so that then I can talk to the client about it. But secondly, we're going to do the clearing for it using words. So yeah, interesting dynamic. But let's get into the session.
Awesome. Thank you so much for giving me all this information.
No problems. You're welcome. Now, so we've got Seann here. We've got the focuses of what we want to do, including obviously the assessment we looked at in regards to his photos for posture, and then obviously what Seann is experiencing too. Okay. So I want to know where we want to start with that. Do we come straight up to a focus chart? This chart. This chart.
Okay. I can feel something beginning already, Chris.
Oh, yeah. Because what we do is we're already providing a focus for something to happen.
Whoa.
And, when you have a focus, what's the expression for attention? Where attention goes, energy flows. So we're already providing an attention or focus that we're going to do some healing for you. So yes, no, it doesn't surprise me that you're feeling things happening already. So where do we want to go to, please? Okay, circle. That's where we want to go first, yep. Okay, so what we're going to do, there is scan the body with a wand, okay? So what we call is wanding. Now we use an energy tool like that.
Wow, look at that.
Okay, so this is made with, we call it cubit measurements. They're the cubit measures like a measurement that we have, like a length, that we bring back on itself, let's say for if we were going to make what they call a tensor ring.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can also do it for straight line measurements too, which we've got a tube here, and then we've got another piece that fits inside the tube. So there are two different measurements, and then you've got a measurement for the coil bit that we then put on it. So the three they're anchoring 3 sets of energetics. Now, these energetics come from that, again, as I say, that ascension mat, which are bringing through, anchoring in more of your higher consciousness energy into you here, because we want you to be a representation of your wholeness, of your completeness. That's why I said before, when we're living just an existence by the human and what we've kind of taught to know and do and learn and those sorts of things, we are a limited representation or an unfinished or incomplete version of ourselves. So, and that then leads us to live our way in a different way. Like, for example, the mentality of lack comes from that as the human, because we're kind of, the arc of the human is we don't know much when we're born, and everything we need to know is out there. You know, no one ever said no, just be and sit there and go within. You know, we never got taught that. Right. So, but the problem was with thinking that we need, whether it's love or information or knowledge or whatever that is out there that we need, it puts us out, it does, through that path, it puts us in a vulnerable state, because it might happen, it might not. Right? I might get love from somebody, but what happens if I don't?
Yeah, exactly.
But if we go inwards and we make that first connection to ourselves and find out our expansion, which includes a connection to ourselves, which means love for self first, then we've always got that baseline there. So when we go out to the world, it doesn't matter so much whether something happens or not, because we already are projecting that thing we're looking for, right? So so it's not so vulnerable, right? We're creating a more consistent or what's the word? Certain state instead of an uncertain state to begin with. So it's just a different way of living. Here, here, or here. Where do we want to go to? Anywhere else? Okay, go to the chart. Anywhere else? So we're going to go to the muscular chart, and I can feel that already. Upper thoracic, lower lumbar.
Oh, I can feel it energetically, my friend.
Yeah. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to use a chart like that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use the wand that in my high consciousness is going to guide the area that we're going to work on. Okay.
Wow. Wow. Thank you.
It's all done by feel. So again,
Amazing.
going straight to that position of kind of, it's not between the shoulder blades, it's below that.
Whoa.
Kind of upper thoracic, lower lumbar. Upper thoracic, lower thoracic, upper lumbar. So I'm just going to work on that area. And again, we just work on that area until my hand is shifted to another area. The wand is shifted to another area.
Oh.
And I could actually feel that coming through anteriorly too, even like a little bit in the chest, but a little bit of the abdomen as well.
Yeah, I feel it now. It's like there's actually an energy.
Yeah.
Hey.
Now we're coming down.
Excuse me, I make noises because it's just the energy's making me.
That's all right. Well, I do too at times. That's all good.
Yeah.
Now we're shifting down more into the lumbar now itself, so mid to lower lumbar spine. So what we're essentially doing there is we see that if the muscles are tight or something's there that's grabbing or it's an expression of the body, right? It's expressing itself through tension. And what we want to do is we want to transmute that expression, that communication of the body into something that's more relaxed instead of strained or stressed or tight, tense.
Awesome. Whew.
Obviously, there's a purpose for everything, so we'll learn, obviously, why it's like that as we go along in the session.
Wonderful. Fascinating. Thank you.
You're welcome. So that's done.
Whoa.
Okay. Now, do we want to come up to here? No, that's fine. Back to the chart. So let's see where it goes to next. Okay, so this is usually the first place we go. It's quite interesting that we actually worked on wanding the muscles first, but we are going to it now. Posture. Okay. And again, why do we do that? Because what's the point in working on aligning the spine if the posture is just going to shift that alignment back out of position again?
Right.
Doesn't make sense. So
no.
we need to understand that the spine's like that because of the posture. So therefore, we need correct posture, which then when we go to align the spine, it will have a greater ability to hold its alignment. And that's what it's all about.
Are you basically saying that chiropractic treatment doesn't really work?
Kind of, yeah. We are seeing growth and involvement in the chiropractic industry. There is more integrative chiropractic people that are making a big emphasis and focus now on posture.
Yeah.
And they kind of do it very similar to the photos that we do where we see the human body in its 3D state, right? So we use the axis in a 3D state, right? X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Or Z. And then we can get an idea of what we need to work on posturally. But yes, there's still a lot of chiropractors out there that just want to crunch bones and then at the end there's probably a few minutes of just a little machine working on you just to relax a bit of muscles, and then you're out the door.
Exactly, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Every session's 5 minutes. I did have an energetic chiropractor, but he retired because of COVID.
Okay.
He would just barely touch you and just go through your hands like this.
Yeah.
He didn't do any ballistic movements, never did any back crunching. That was something he abandoned a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then he would say, your spine is straight now, you may go. But I'd still have to see him every month.
Yeah.
I'd still have to go every month. And he would say, your spine is going this way again, or it's twisted this way. And he'll do the thing like this, barely touch you with just his fingertips, and say, you're straight again. So you see, there must be some better way like yours.
Yeah, and that's where you're saying after a certain period of time, because we go back out into life, right?
Yeah.
And life is an energetic exchange all the time, right? So that comes into that question again. What's my ability to hold my energy out? Am I doing that, or am I leaking it out? So if you don't have that ability to hold your energy and it's leaking out, then the body is going to reflect that, including how your posture is, right?
How do you hold your energy, Chris, or is that another lesson?
Well, this is right at the pinnacle of what we're trying to achieve now here at Truly Holistic. So as I say, that's included like in the reality coaching, the ascendance healing sessions, but we're going to go into that in depth in that discussion, that Zoom call, and this weekend. So
gotcha. Thank
you. Talk more about it.
Gotcha. I'm just all over
it. Okay, whereabouts, please? Whereabouts do we want to go? Okay, circle. Okay, so it's not specifically going towards any curvature per se in regards to posture at this point. It's just saying we need to obviously correct a postural deficit, but not having to say like a kyphosis or like a curvature problem. So let's just find out where. So where do we want to make that intent, please?
Wow, this is powerful. I can feel almost like a pain energy in my spine right now, just mid upper thoracic.
Yep.
Feel it. It's moving, but it's like feels like pain.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Anywhere else? That's where we want to do it. Interesting. Now, this is another interesting concept, and there are a sprinkling of chiropractors out there that will say the same thing I'm about to say. Not many. Let's say you're experiencing your pain, the grinding, the clunking in that lumbar part of your spine, right? So, and so as the human, we think, and this is how orthopedic surgeons, and you go to a doctor, this is how they're all trained to do as well. Mm-hmm. If you're experiencing the pain or problem in that area, then the problem's there in that area. So then they'll get an X-ray of you or MRI or whatever in that local area, because that's where you're experiencing the pain.
Yeah.
Which is how the body's communicating to you. And remember, it does that to bring an awareness. That's the key. That's the job of the body. Then it's our process to then interpret that, right? Now, the body speaks through feel, right? That's why we feel it, right? Pain is something, you feel it.
Yeah.
But the problem is the human, we interpret it through a process of thought, not feel. Okay, so it's a bit like having two people having a talk at a table. One knows only how to speak French, and one person only knows how to speak Japanese. And good luck having a conversation.
Yeah.
Right, or understanding each other. So this is kind of what's been going on for a wee while with the human, is we misinterpret the body through a process of thought because it's trying to communicate through feel. Okay, so now what we find though is why the lumbar spine is the way it is because maybe of something that's happening in your upper spine.
Right.
Right. So you're experiencing the pain or the difficulty in the lumbar, but the original cause of why the lumbar is like that might not be in the lumbar.
Yeah.
Right. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to a posture correction over. It's more of a general aspect of your cervical and your thoracic. Okay, because what happens, the spine works as one, right? So, and we want it in sync. But the thing is, when the spine's working well, that's when it evenly distributes a workload over the whole spine evenly. But if a part of your spine, let's say your thoracic, is very bound up and tight, it's unstable, then the body learns how to put that workload somewhere else. Okay, which might mean your lumbar spine then has to do more work. Right, or cervical might have to do work. So let's just give you an example of it. But let's do the clearing. So here we go. Yeah. Now, regarding Seann's cervical spine, the discs, the vertebrae, the connective tissue, the cartilage, articular cartilage, ligaments, tendons, muscles, we want to calibrate it to its correct and original posture, please. So immediately while I'm working on your neck, I can also feel that in your lower lumbar. So that's telling me there's a connection with that. Calibrate Seann's cervical spine. So all the way from C1 to C7, including all the tissue that's involved. Calibrate it to its correct and original posture, please. Good. Right, next part. Now, in regards to Seann's thoracic spine, so all the way from T1 to T12, the vertebrae, the discs, the connective tissue, the cartilage, articular cartilage, ligaments, tendons, muscles, calibrate to its correct and original posture, please. Calibrate to its correct and original posture for all tissue, discs, vertebrae, connective tissue, cartilage, articular cartilage, ligaments, tendons, muscles within Seann's thoracic spine. Good. Okay. Because the thing is, if that's bound up or tight or something's going on there, or let's say there's a disc that's protruding forward, which may mean it would be in it gets unstable, and that's when the muscles tighten because they're like, we can't let it slip any further, right? We've got to hold what we've kind of got to make sure that we don't cause more damage. But the problem with that, then you can't hold workload in that part of your spine, so it has to be distributed somewhere else, which then that other area will get overworked or then will get affected more, right? It's at higher risk of an injury or something going on. So that's kind of what I'm starting to see unfold here, right? As we look at what's going on. So do I come back to here? Good. Okay, keep going. Okay, so we're going back to the posture chart. And where do we want to go in regards to posture now for Seann, please? Circle. Okay, interesting. Okay, here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Whereabouts, please? Anywhere else? Beautiful. So we've just got confirmation in regards to your lumbar spine that, yes, there is an excessive curvature there on lordosis. So we're just going to correct that. Which will just add more strain to then the stability of the lumbar spine too, especially if it's having to take more workload too. So here we go. Now, in regards to Seann's lumbar spine, so all the way from L1 to L5, the discs, the vertebrae, the connective tissue, the cartilage, articular cartilage, ligaments, tendons, muscles.
Oh.
We want to remove all conditioning, programming, ideation, curvature of lordosis, please. Want to remove, I can just feel pressure in that area. Remove all conditioning, programming, ideation, intention, curvature, a driver or forward that goes posteriorly to anteriorly. We want to remove that lordosis from Seann's lumbar spine, please, as a whole. Done. Okay. So let's see where we want to go to next. Okay. Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead, please. Circle first, though. Here. Now we're going back to lordosis again. This might be, that was a very generalized clearing with the lumbar spine as a whole, but we might be maybe going into a specific area in that lumbar now. So let's see where we want to go there. Where do we want to go? Yeah, we are going specific here. And it's going to single out a vertebrae or maybe more than one. So let's have a look. Circle. Okay, go ahead. Anywhere else? Yeah. Circle both. Anywhere else? Okay. So now we're going to go to L2 and L3 in the lumbar. And now because as I say, lordosis is generally in the medical and scientific community, it's a curvature. But we also do use that intention, like, for example, now with a vertebrae where we're going to remove lordosis, is more and seeing that more that vertebrae is shifting forward. So it's more that's being driven forward. Okay, so and what we do see is when we make an intention of alignment, it's usually lateral movement. More of the postural side of things, it's whether things are shifting forward or back. Because that really creates it's a completely different thing if something's shifting slight to the side compared to shifting forward or back. When it's moving forward or back, that's creating a real instability for the spine. That's full on, and what will happen in that case, the muscles, the connective tissue will really grip. They're like, oh my God, we can't allow it to shift any further. Because this could lead to a severe problem if we don't. Okay, so
okay.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to correct now. So here we go. Now, in regards to the vertebrae L2 for Seann, I want to remove all conditioning, programming, ideation, curvature, drive forward from P to A, posteriorly, anteriorly, from Seann's lumbar vertebrae 2, please. I'm going to remove all lordosis. Move all conditioning, programming, ideation, curvature, drive forward of lordosis from the vertebrae L2 for Seann, please. Good. Okay. Now, for the vertebrae L3, we want to remove all conditioning, programming, ideation of lordosis, either a curvature or drive forward in regards to that vertebrae L3 for Seann, please. Oh, yeah. Feel this one a little bit more than the other. That first one took a little bit more momentum for it to shift, but this one was pretty immediate. Yeah, good. Okay, where do I need to go to next, please? Circle. So now it's actually going to the chart where we look at nerves. So there's obviously been some nerve involvement. Let's have a look. Whereabouts go, please? Is it over here? Right, it's over here, Craig. Can you circle it? Okay, so it's to do more with the lower back. So let's just have a look. Circle first letter. Okay. I've got a feeling it's not really. It's more affecting the origin of where the root of the nerve is, which is again in the lumbar. Because sometimes it's more about where it goes to, like tracks down a leg or something like that, but definitely feels more central to where the nerve originates in the lumbar. For you, let's have a look here. Go to the first letter, please.
Oh.
Here. Oh. Circle. Okay, anywhere else? Yeah. So what we're going to do, and you're already feeling the energy there.
I do.
The inferior gluteal nerve, which again, that lower lumbar area. So here we go. Now, in regards to the inferior gluteal nerve for Seann, release it from any impingement, any entrapment, any compression, and any irritation, please.
Wow.
That's strong. Release the inferior gluteal nerve, which originates from that in the lumbar. Release it from any entrapment, impingement, compression, irritation for Seann, please.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Oh.
Yeah, no, it's strong, eh? Yeah.
Wow.
I felt it strong too.
Wow.
Pressure, but also discomfort in the area. I felt quite a bit of that. Okay, so let's go back. We always go back to the home page again, the front page here. So where do we want to go to next, or do we want to come to a focus specifically? Cool. Go ahead, please. Circle. Okay, so now it's going to alignment. So we're going to look at that now. So you can see that our pathway of the session is very measured, right? Is you know, there's a purpose behind it. It's not like we're just, oh, we'll do a bit of this over here and do a bit of this over here. It's all formulated in a certain path in doing it the right way. So where do we need to align or make an alignment for Seann now, please? Again, very specific in regards to it. So let's see where. So he wants to go to a vertebrae. So let's do that. So whereabouts, please? Ah, interesting. Okay. Okay, circle first letter, please. Here. Yeah. Yeah. Here. Okay, anywhere else? So those two. Okay, anywhere else? Anywhere else, please. Okay. So we're just going to start off actually in the neck. And we are going to align C6 and C7, which are the two lower at the base of your neck, are the ones that are out of alignment. Now, that when it comes to the neck, that's where there's a big bundle of nerves really around that area, which then go to the shoulders and then they go down the arms. So, example like a radial nerve, right? Radial is referencing your wrist, right?
Yes.
But the root of that nerve originates up here in the neck. So there's a lot of people that struggle, right, with, oh, I'm losing strength in my hands or carpal tunnel, those sorts of things. And again, a lot of the times, oh, it must be in this area, but a lot of the times the origin of their complaint is coming from what's going on up here. So again, coming back to posture and all those sorts of things as well. So, yeah. But at this point, it's not saying that for you. We're just going to align the vertebrae and let's go.
Yes, please.
Now, in regards to the vertebrae C6 for Seann, calibrate it to its correct and original alignment, please. Oh, yeah. It's like a bit of a burning sensation there. Align the vertebrae C6 to its correct and original alignment for Seann, please. Good. Now, for the vertebrae C7, calibrate it to its correct and original alignment too, please.
Whoa. Cool. Oh. Oh.
That one's just floating back into position now that the C6 went back in. Now, again, it told me C6, C7 out, but we always also go by, there's also one that has to be done first. Right? You know, a lot of people would go, well, you could just done C7. No, it had to be C6 first, or we do C7. Again, always purpose. Everything has purpose to it. Okay, so do we come back to here? Okay, go here, please. Okay. Because the thing is, if C6 originally went out, and because C6 was out, then C7 went out, it makes sense, right? To kind of, you know, you go back into that process that, okay, C6 was really what created C7 to get out of alignment. So we need to put that back in alignment before then we put C7 in. So it's there's always a purpose behind that. So where do what do we need to align now, please, for Seann, please? Okay, circle. Here. Okay. Is that, yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to align the entire spine. And when I'm asked to do that, it usually means that, you know, coming back to what I talked about earlier, is that in the spine, in its natural state, in its best state, is that there's a oneness and it evenly distributes the workload over the spine evenly. Now, so with this intention, it's all based about that. It's about we can do that now. We wouldn't have been able to do that at the start, but we can do that now. So that's what we're going to do.
Yes, please.
Now, for Seann's entire spine, that starts from C1, going through the cervical, through the thoracic, all the way down to L5 in the lumbar, the discs, the vertebrae, the connective tissue, cartilage, articular cartilage, ligaments, tendons, muscles. Calibrate to its correct and original alignment, please, for the entire spine as one. So everything is in sync and everything can take on a workload. So therefore, the workload is distributed evenly throughout the spine because it works together as one. So for Seann's entire spine, calibrate to its correct and original alignment, please. I can actually feel that coming through the front too in your abdomen area.
I feel that.
Beautiful. Okay. Do you want me to start here? Do you want me to come to here? Okay. Go ahead, please. Circle. Yes. Anything else? Okay, so now it's going to go over a few of the things that you said about, you know, what you were experiencing, including that kind of clunking sound that you heard, you know, in your lumbar, and then the grinding and those sorts of things.
Yeah, when I twist. Yeah.
So I'm just going to see. Okay, go ahead. Let's try. Okay. L, N, L. Okay, so would you say here? Okay, tell me what means L. Anything else? Okay, where? Is that area we already know, or do I need to look it up? Okay, by coming here. Okay. Do I need to be specific about it? No. Okay. So what we're going to do, which initially they said your spine needs more light. Okay, and when they use the word light, means more energy, more consciousness. Now, a word we can use for that is the word levity. Okay. And obviously, levity is very connected to the spine, right? Because a lot of spinal problems are caused by compression, which is gravity on the spine.
Yes.
And then levity is the opposite force to gravity. So, you know, there's a lot of products out there, right? Like inversion tables to try and create a process where you elongate the spine, right? To create more levity.
Yes, exactly. I've been trying to do my own elongation by just hanging on bars and things.
Yeah. So, you know, levity and gravity, there's so much more meaning to those two things too. What I've come to find is, you know, the Latin word, the meaning behind the Latin word for gravity means heavy, right? So, and then the Latin meaning behind, or the meaning behind the Latin word for levity means light, right? We could look at it in the way that, yes, something's light, but its own light, right? That we're talking about here, or which we talk about energy and consciousness.
Right.
So gravity is low vibration. That's what I will say. And the more we live as, what we've been told to live as the human in a limited state through a thought process, guiding, controlling our experience, a limited experience, our body's naturally then going to be a representation of more effect from gravity, low vibration.
Right.
But if we start to change things up and we address ourselves and we see ourselves as more than that, as the human, we see ourselves as this consciousness, this expanded energy already, and we allow our heart to lead our experience of life, experience of our reality, which is where our soul, our consciousness exists, and it's gonna guide you through feel, not thought. Which then again allows you to be more in the flow, right? Being in the flow is then your body is going to become a representation of more levity, more light than gravity, right? So
yes.
So he's as you can see, there's a greater meaning behind that. But this is going to help in a lot of ways, especially from a postural component of your spine. So here we go.
Very good.
Now, in regards to Seann's entire spine, calibrate it with levity, please, which is light, which is also hydrogen, if you really want to know what hydrogen is.
Oh.
Calibrate Seann's entire spine, so all the way from C1, the cervical, through the thoracic, down to T12, all the way through the lumbar, down to L5. Calibrate it with levity, please. And it's amazing how many times I hear from people, they'll come back to and they go, I felt like I was a couple inches taller.
I can feel something feels wonderful, Chris. I feel wonderful. A levity, literally.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Levity, what's that also connected to it? You go to someone that's real serious about life. You need a bit more levity, a bit more, laugh a bit more, a little bit more lightheartedness, right? That's all levity.
You put a smile on my face with that.
Yeah. So there's so many aspects of levity, yes, for sure. Because again, if we're expressing ourselves in lifestyle and we're being serious about everything, that's usually when we've enabled the world, like a tidal wave, to just run over top of us.
Oh, tell me about it.
Okay, so, and that's gravity, right? So, and levity is when we feel like, no, I know more, which it's knowing, meaning, purpose, knowing more about yourself. That's levity, because it's not all. It's about, okay, if it's up to someone, it's up to me, knowing, because if we lead our life with the heart leading our experience, well, where does love come from? It comes from there, right? We know that that's the best feeling ever. Everyone, and the thing about love as well is that. How is it explained? Love is a feeling. It's not a thinking. It's not a thought process. It's not something. It's not a seeing experience. It's a feeling. So we want to live our life by being guided by feel.
Very good.
That's feeling our way. So that's our authenticity. You'll bring more of who you truly are through that mechanism, through that process. So that's all levity. Another thing I can give you an example of levity is, which I love this analogy, is a spring, a natural spring in nature. Water comes from an aquifer deep underground. How does it get to the surface? It levitates, right? And the laws of physics will say, hey, if there's an opposing force to gravity, it creates friction and therefore causes heat. But these spring waters that come to the surface, they come up icy cold. There's no heat, right? So they've just bypassed laws of physics. That's how magical it is, right? So we've got a river that's got this beautiful walkway alongside it because it's fed continuously by spring. So it's got this beautiful blue hue to the water. You see all the life in it, like swimming around. It's like just looking through a mirror. It's just beautiful. And it's about 3.5, 4 hours drive from here. But and there's a sign by that river, and it's all it's always been there, right? This awareness of this. And on the sign it says this. It says, doesn't matter what temperature it is outside. It could be below freezing, or it could be really hot outside. That temperature of that river will remain the same. Will never change.
How is that possible?
So what does that say? Summarize. It says that river cannot be affected by outside influence.
No.
Well, if we understood that and applied it to the human, what could that mean? That's what we're doing now. That's what we're doing here at Truly Holistic.
Please do.
So how that applies and how that works is that if we look at it from a standpoint of water, right? Water chemically H2O, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, oxygen is part of the gravitational effect of this place. The key aspect in that water is the hydrogen. Okay, hydrogen's light. Okay, if you really want to get to the core, the root of what hydrogen's light. Okay, we see perfect examples of it, like stars, our sun. What's it made up? Made of hydrogen. It's our biggest light source, energy source, as the human, how we experience it. So, so the hydrogen and the potency of the hydrogen in that water levitates it to the surface. And then when it obviously goes into the river, and the river is continually fed by that when you have that much levity and light into and hydrogen into something, you are in a powerful state that nothing will interfere or affect you from an outside influence scenario. Just one.
That's marvelous. You're the first person to ever talk like that about this.
Yeah.
Ever. So.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody talking about it like this, right?
Yeah, you're the first I've ever heard. Yeah.
Yeah. So
all I gotta say is
that's a big aspect of levity.
Yeah, please.
But also, it's not just about levity; it's about connecting the dots. Levity, hydrogen, light, consciousness. They're all the same thing.
Extraordinary. Yeah.
And when you connect those things up, what does that mean? Greater understanding and knowing. That's what we need more than anything right now. That's healing. That's the core of healing. So yeah, that's good. Okay, so we imparted a levity or levitational effect on Seann's entire spine. Okay, as you were connecting to the clunkiness of the lumbar grinding, because as Seann was mentioning there earlier on, right? Is that because discs wearing away or degeneration? Which again, how does that happen? Compression, right? Gravity.
Of course.
So that's how that ties in also with that. So do we need to do anything specifically with the disc? Because we also intend, because discs are made up of fluid as well, right?
Yes.
Do we go there, or do you want to come back to here? Okay, let's just see where we're going to go to next. Circle. Yes. Anything else? So now it's just focusing the word lumbar. Yep, go ahead.
Wow.
GHEA. Okay, it's saying the word healed. So that's I always like to hear that word. So, that means that we're at the end of our session. So,
I want to just throw out there, but I don't know if this would be included or if we can talk maybe another session. But
sure.
I have a right foot long-standing. I'm not going to show you the foot, but basically the right foot where your basically your bunions would be.
Yeah.
It sticks out because I injured it and never really healed it properly. It's been re-injured constantly, and I've been told it looks like it's misaligned. I go, yeah, because I kept re-injuring and never healing it correctly repeatedly over the last 25 years. Yeah. And at times it goes out in the sense that it becomes swollen and painful just from me jumping off the bus, for God's sakes. Yeah, and believe me, my friend, I don't play sports anymore because I really probably couldn't play sports anyway, right?
Okay.
But obviously not being super active just walking around, sometimes I could go, oh, I've done something. Is there anything that can be done for that?
Yeah.
In this session or some other session?
It's saying we go. It needs more time than just 1 or 2 clearings I could do now, but it said there's definitely it said there's a calcification issue there.
Yeah.
And the thing about calcification again is, what's the question is, where does it come from? How does it originate? So, which again, we're doing the session, we're working on that. It's through a process of a microbial imbalance.
Oh.
We have to correct a microbial imbalance before we eventually then work on the calcified or calcification issue of the bunion itself, or of the area that is protruding like that because of the infections and so on. Yeah. That's how we work on it.
Would it be a spinal session or an ascension healing session? Since we're on it right now and we're just about wrapping up, which is great. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. Ascended healing session would be best for that.
Okay.
Yep.
I was also thinking too, because I'm awfully curious now that you've evolved so far. I'm going, I haven't had a session with Chris in a while. Well, a long time. So
I tell you, these sessions are really intriguing, interesting, exciting, and which it should be, because you're learning more about what you can then take into your life and see things in different ways and new ways, which is that's what life's all about. So
well, you've been super generous, and the clearings have been super quick and efficient, and I must say I feel like $1 million. This is the late afternoon of my day on a Sunday, and I haven't had dinner yet, and I'm going, you know what, I should be feeling kind of like not as well. I know. Plus, it's kind of hot outside. I don't know how you're
off of that.
It's kind of like, I feel like $1 million. I feel really great. And I haven't got up out of my chair, but I look forward to seeing how my spine feels. And is there anything I should do? Just sleep and go back to work tomorrow? And is there anything I need to drink? I always say drink more water. I go, that's what everyone always says, drink more water. I go, yeah, that's great. Thanks a lot for some obvious advice.
That's a good point that you bring up, right? Is that a lot of people, and this is a question I do get asked, right? Which is understandable. What do I need to do now? Is my answer to that is the opposite to that. I want you to be in a state of being, right? Which is not doing, right? So why? Because that state, you allow the process of what we've done to keep doing what it needs to do. Because as I said earlier, body knows what to do. Just create a space to allow it. Sometimes when we think, we've got to do this and do that, we're trying to control the situation. No, we don't need to do that. We just need to let it happen.
You have the easiest way about you, and the whole day has been very easy. And it's like often I get nervous before a session because I go, I got to make sure all my equipment's working, got to get ready, get stressed out. Everything was just easy. That's the best word I can say. Levity, easy. Thank you so much, man. I mean,
no problems. You're always welcome.
I think I look forward to a better spine. I'll book you up for an ascended healing session so we can do my foot among other things. I'm sure that won't only thing on a session, because you could probably get to that in a few clearings or whatever with my foot for that session.
Have a little bit of a think about it and just the session and just what are some things we'd like to bring.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll book you up sooner than later. I'm sure it'll come to me.
Cool.
And thank you for letting me in on the Zoom thing. I look forward to the email.
I'll send you the link.
And wow, I guess once we've done, the recording will be available for me to download automatically.
Cool.
I don't know what to say, Chris. You're always very super generous with your time, your help, your information. And this is spinal session number 2, but it's like evolved session, because it's not like the one before. That was different.
Exactly. That's why I try and
this has more
awareness to my clients is that they'll go, I tried this a year ago, and I go, I tell you.
I know, and I thought I knew what it was, because I kept leaving it going, I had the session, and I've been through a lot of stuff, and I said, but I didn't feel dramatically better. But then I said, wait a minute, did you not hang your hat, Sean, on the fact that you had this ongoing pain in the middle of the back of your heart,
it's gone.
In the spine, which was actually really kind of radiating, and I'm going, it's gone.
Yeah. It's
gone. Right? And would you say on your check that was the treatment? Could you check for yourself? Was that the treatment or something else?
Well, the way I look at it is it's never one way, right? Do the clearing work, right, which is the treatment, right? I do that because it's more really a medical term, is it like a treatment that we do?
I understand.
I get out of that, but it's more this. Okay, I do the clearing work, but it's also more, as is important or more important is also the client enabling a space to allow that to then proceed and do the body to do its own thing. So it's a combination of both.
Yeah, this session was very delightful and very easygoing, but I could feel a powerful effect. It was so, like, almost on a level where, is that happening? Yes, you know it's happening.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, wow. Well, Chris, awesome. I guess I better say thank you and goodbye. I don't know. I'd love to, of course, keep talking to you and getting more information, but I think you're always so generous with your time. I guess I'll see you on the Zoom next week, Saturday.
Yeah. Because it's Sunday where you are at, so it will be on this Saturday coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look forward to the link, and I will book you up for an Ascendant session.
Perfect.
As soon as it occurs correctly for me. But I look forward to even just feeling how I feel the next few days. How often should I give you feedback if there is on my back or my spine? Do people let you know like within days, weeks, months?
It doesn't matter. Like when you feel like you're when you feel like you need to then let me know and how things are going. That's the right time. It doesn't have to be 3 days, or I send there's a follow-up email that comes out, about 2 or 3 days time, but I don't. That's just automatically sent through my sheet.
Yeah, it seems too soon because I don't know. When I see the email, I always go, I don't know.
but there's a lot of people that some send back at that time. Some people just send an email and say, oh, I'd like to see how things progress a little bit longer. Some people don't get back to me. Again, it's not there to say you have to get back in touch with me. It's just, it's just a bit of a reminder, really.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know for sure.
Because I love to hear feedback, because then we can share and show that what's possible to other people, right? They're looking for, looking towards the horizon for new opportunities,
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much, Chris. Have yourself a great evening, and look forward to working with you again real soon.
Sounds great.
Goodbye then. You're always so easygoing. Everyone else is always like, I gotta go and good night, and they always click you off. You're just so easygoing. So thank you so much.
No problems. Okay, bye, Sean.
Awesome. Take care. Bye, Chris.